Welcome, rational thinkers and champions of evidence-based reasoning, to the Free of Faith podcast. This is the place where we dare to peel back the comforting but opaque layers of faith-based claims and expose their logical shortcomings. Today, we're exploring a deeply human question. Is it sensible to believe in God just because we don't have better answers to life's big questions? Let's start with an image, a vivid scene from the dawn of human thought, before the advent of science. You're standing on a hilltop, watching a storm rage across the sky. Lightning splits the heavens, thunder shakes the ground, and fear grips your heart. In that moment of awe and terror, your mind, untethered by standards of evidence and logic, reaches for an explanation. You picture a mighty hand, flinging bolts from above, driven by forces you can't see or understand. And just like that, a god of lightning is born, not from knowledge, but from the discomfort of not knowing. Now fast forward to today. The questions are bigger, but the pattern is the same. When we face profound mysteries, why we exist, what purpose we serve, what happens after death, it's easy to feel that same discomfort and that same need to know. Here's where the danger creeps in. Someone offers you an ideological map. It's outdated, untested, and based on tradition rather than evidence. They tell you it's the only map worth following. Clutching it brings comfort. But ask yourself, what if the map is wrong? What if, by grabbing the first map you see, you blind yourself to better rational tools and a sharper exploration of the evidence that could guide you more faithfully through life's unknowns? This temptation to quickly seize a comforting package of prefab answers and to default to a popular God can set us on a very flawed trajectory. When we default to belief in God simply because it fills gaps in our understanding, we risk halting the very process that could lead us to genuine insights. Imagine if a scientist, puzzled by a phenomenon, declared a conclusion without rigorous testing, simply because no other theory had come along. Science would grind to a halt. Investigation and discovery would die. The same is true for our philosophical and existential inquiries. The moment we stop asking, what else might be true, is the moment we halt our honest intellectual development. Let's dig deeper. When we choose a belief, misaligned with the relevant evidence as a placeholder for understanding, we are trading our intellectual integrity for emotional certainty. It feels good to have an answer. It feels reassuring to say, there, that's settled. But what is the cost? Picture two paths. The first path descends down toward intellectual complacency, where dogma replaces curiosity and questions are silenced. The other path heads upward toward rational exploration, where uncertainty is embraced as the fertile soil of discovery. Which path leads to truth? Which builds resilience, adaptability, and a mind prepared to meet life's challenges honestly? Consider the consequences of choosing the path of dogma.
By adopting unproven beliefs simply because they feel comforting, we risk stagnating inquiry. If God is always the answer, why look further? Why challenge ourselves with new ideas or evidence?
We foster dogma when beliefs are held not because they're true, but because they're familiar or soothing. They tend to harden into doctrines resistant to change.
We surrender autonomy. When meaning and conduct are outsourced to divine command, we may stop developing more empathetic and fulfilling standards of conduct.
We invite cognitive dissonance. Faith claims often clash with observable reality. That tension can push us toward denying evidence or distrusting science to protect beliefs that are misaligned with the evidence.
We open the door to manipulation. When we rely on religious authorities for answers, we may find our lives guided not by truth, but by those who seek power.
History bears witness to this pattern. From the persecution of scientists to the suppression of social progress, dogmatic belief has too often stood in the way of human advancement. And yes, it's true that many religious believers lead happy lives, but cherry-picking feel-good comparisons misses the point. The real question is, what kind of life might we lead if we fully committed ourselves to following the evidence wherever it leads? At minimum, we know it will be more intellectually honest. Let's examine the calm acceptance of uncertainty. Saying, "I don't know," isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the hallmark of intellectual honesty. It means we're ready to learn, to grow, to remain open to better answers as they emerge. Admitting uncertainty keeps us flexible, curious, and engaged with reality. It shields us from the trap of easy, untested answers, and instead nourishes a mindset rooted in honest inquiry and discovery. When we successfully resist the allure of premature conclusions, we are then able to cultivate a healthy skepticism, a protective force against error, manipulation, and self-deception. We give ourselves permission to explore life's deepest mysteries with clarity and courage. And as we do, our understanding deepens, not because we've settled for comforting myths, but because we've earned our insights through patient, honest inquiry. So the next time you encounter life's big questions about existence, purpose, or the unknown, pause. Ask yourself, is belief in a God and his prepackaged answers really the best move, or is it just the easiest? What might you discover if you choose the path of reason over reassurance? The answers you find may not come quickly or neatly, but they'll be built on the bedrock of truth rather than the shifting sands of faith. If this conversation has sparked some questions or even some discomfort, that's a good thing. Questioning is the first step toward clarity. Don't settle for easy answers or platitudes. Dive deeper, explore further, and demand evidence. Head over to Free of Faith to read the full article and join the discussion. Let's keep this conversation going, because the pursuit of truth doesn't stop at questioning. It's about finding answers that actually make sense. Thank you for tuning in to the Free of Faith podcast, where we expose the logical failings of faith and celebrate the clarity that comes with reason. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay curious, and remember, rationality always outperforms faith. Engage reality, and I'll see you soon.